The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. Gail Thompson here from Secured Signing. Thank you so much for joining our Introduction to Digital Signature webinar this afternoon. Hopefully you can hear me okay. If there are any issues with sound or the screen, please pop in something in the question box just to let me know. I have had sessions when I didn't realize or wasn't aware and it went on for too long. So please, if you can't hear me or can't see me at any stage throughout this, please put it in the questions. Likewise, if you have any questions, put them in there as well. Hopefully we'll get some time to Q&A at the end, but just put them in as we go, and if I can quickly answer it, I will. Very good. Okay, so this webinar is quite short. It's 30 minutes, and I'm going to cover quite a bit, but I'm going to keep it very high level. So I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I'll show you where you can find more information if you did want to know more throughout. So I'm going to start off with just explaining what is a digital signature and cover a few different types of signing technologies that you may feel overwhelmed with. So just clarify a few differences there. Then I'll tell you a bit about us, so who we are and what do we know about digital signatures. I will then share some tips around how to get ready from a paper-based manual process to a digital one, and then finally we'll finish with a demonstration. So I'll try and get through the first 3 topics as quickly as I can so we can spend most of the time on the demonstration, which I'm sure is the bit that you're most excited to see. Very good. So in terms of digital signing, there's this is going to be the most technical part of the webinar, so that's why I start off with it. So keep with me, but if you do have questions, pop them in. So in terms of digital signing technology, there are, you may have heard of electronic signatures, digital signatures, and you probably think they're just 2 labels for the same thing, just means you sign online. Now, it's not quite true. So just check the screens. Okay, yeah. So electronic signature is a very wide term that is used to, even a tick box on a online form can be treated as an electronic signature. So there's lots of things that count as electronic signatures, and one of those mechanisms is the signing, and that's the picture that I'm showing you there. Now, an electronic signature, so it's just an image. So you do a scribble of your signature, and that becomes a picture. That picture can be copied and pasted because it is just a picture. And it doesn't have any document security. And what I mean by that is that when you sign with an electronic signature, there is no tool in the signature itself to detect if the document has been altered after it was signed. Okay, so somebody can get a hold of your document, change it, and you will have no idea. The signature looks valid, everything looks fine, and you have no clue. So it's not very secure, which is why we chose digital signature technology, which is the technology that we've used from day one, from when we were launched in 2010. So the reason for it is because it's a more secure way of signing. So our digital signatures are based on PKI. It's called Public Key Infrastructure Technology, which is a cryptographic technology, as it says here. We have a page on our website called Introduction to Digital Signature, which sets out actually all the steps using images that happen when we create a digital signature and all the information that we collate, etc. So I'd recommend you, if you do want to really understand this in detail, is to check that page out. So it's Introduction to Digital Signature. And pretty much with a digital signature, you are sealing your document with the very first signature. So what that means is that if anyone was to alter the document after it was signed, the document or the signature in the document becomes invalid. You can see that in any PDF reader, and you will get an error message at the top, signature invalid. Okay, now the reason it is in the signature is because of this PKI technology. We can quickly read and see if there's been anything's been altered. Once a signature is invalid, you can't go back because the document has been altered. It is no longer the same document that was signed. Each signature is unique to the signer and the specific document, and again, that information is captured in the signature and what I describe behind the scenes, and it cannot be copied and pasted. So it's, your signature image is much more secure. All right, any questions? Because that's quite a bit to take. No. All right, very good. I'll carry on to a lighter slide about who we are. So Secured Signing is a cloud digital signing and an online forms platform. So whilst digital signing is definitely our core, we also offer digital or online forms that you can build yourself or that we can work with you on building that include a signing element. We launched our platform in 2010, so a wee while now, celebrating 10 years in August, which is very exciting. We are a Kiwi or New Zealand owned and based company, so all of our development is done in New Zealand in Auckland, which is where I am talking to you from today. All of our head office functions and most of our support functions and sales are also based in Auckland. However, we do have representatives in terms of support. We've got support teams in the UK as well, so we cover the globe between Auckland and the UK. It's a nice opposite ends, and we also have sales reps in the US as well as the UK. So, which brings me to my next point, that we very much are a global company. And we've got customers using us right across the globe to sign their business documents securely. So as I mentioned, our unique point of difference is our signing technology, which I've gone through in detail. So this is the level of the technology that we use is very high, and there's not many that follow the same protocol as we do. And because of this, we sort of gravitated to these following industries because they really value security and a feature-rich, complex platform. So recruitment, HR, finance industry, legal, and the property market, the property sector we work with very closely. And lastly, it's just how we describe ourselves. So we like to talk about ourselves as a serious signing platform. So, if you're looking for that top end of security, top features that really enable you to take every complex from as simple a signing process with just one person to one that has 25 different shareholders, for example, more that need to sign, you can get that done with our platform. So we really cover to the most complex of signing workflows that you might have. And I suppose the key problem in terms of what do we solve is that we replace very lengthy paperwork processes. And I'm sure that would resonate with each one of you here today, which is hopefully why you've signed up to the webinar. You're finding that, you can no longer compete or be the constraints of paperwork, especially when a lot of us are not working from the office and we might not even have access to printers and scanners, and neither will your customers or your clients. So how do you avoid those delays because of those constraints with using a signing platform like ours? Very good. Just going to have a quick drink. So what I'm going to cover next is just some of the tips that I like to share with people that are looking to move from a paper-based process to a digital one. So these are just some of the key things that I think you should plan for before you make a shift. So the first one that I find actually the most important is to have a very clear understanding of what is the process that you're trying to replicate in a digital way. So map it out in terms of your current process, all the different people that are involved, the different pieces of paper that you're using, the different roles and responsibilities. And you might see that there's some things that you're doing without even consciously thinking about, but when you go to a digital way, it then comes to light, well, why are you doing it in a certain way? So if you start with how you're doing things now, and then the why you're doing it this way, and does it need to then be replicated in a digital way. So we can, if you have real clarity about what you need to do, then we can give you the best advice on how to replicate that in a digital way. So that, to be fair, that's, I think, the biggest challenge. Then once you have a really good understanding of the processes that you're wanting to do, is identifying the different roles within that process. So in terms of our system, or when you use any signing platform, you're going to have somebody who's going to be responsible for sending out the documents. So that will be whoever is preparing them now, for example. So that would be the document owner or the sender. Then you have the invitee. So the invitee is the person that you're inviting to sign. And we also have another role which might be applicable to some of your processes where there is a reviewer step. So the sender or the document owner would prepare the document. It would then be handed over to the reviewer to have a read through the document, make sure that it is looking correct. And once they're happy with it, they would approve it, and only then the signing process would actually start, perhaps with an external party. So that can be an internal process, and then it goes to an external person to sign, and then maybe a whole lot of other things happen. And you can have a reviewer between different steps. You can have a reviewer as an advisor. There's a whole lot of things that you can use a reviewer for. So it really, again, allows you to take any process and replicate it digitally. And then my next 2 points are more around what are you going to do at the beginning of the process. So think about your document creation. Where are you creating your documents? Do you have some sort of system that generates the documents? If so, you can use some of our technology to get them ready for signing. So we use this thing called SmartTag. I won't get into that, but how you can automate the signing process from when you create it. If you use, for example, Microsoft Word or Outlook, we have an integration with them, so you can actually send a document for signing directly from Word. So you can edit the document in Word and then send it out directly from there without having to jump into our platform. And you can actually also create your documents within our platform. So it's just a question about how do you go about creating your documents, and where is the best way to do that in a digital way. And then if we think to the other end of the process, is what are you going to do with your documents at the end? If you have a filing cabinet with going paperless, you're not going to need that anymore. So what is it going to be your digital, storage cabinet equivalent? Do you have a plan for that in place? And the reason that I highlight that in particular is that secured signing by default is not a storage platform. So all of our documents are actually deleted from our system 7 days after they are signed or expired. So that was the design of our platform from the beginning, is that we do not keep documents for long term. And with our technology, we don't need to. So other signing platforms, because they don't use the digital signing technology, the only way that they can give you some certainty that the document hasn't been altered is by actually saving a copy of your document in their platform. We don't do that. We delete it. So if you did want us to keep it, we have a history function where you have to agree to the terms, and then we'll give you the option. But by default, we delete all of the documents after 7 days. And then finally, just to wrap this up with what we found works well is if you start with one process and become really familiar with a system or with one group department, and then you've got some champions within the business. It makes it easier to roll it out and not bite off too much at once. All right, so we've got 15 minutes to cover in the actual demonstration. So I'm going to show you in particular the WeSign process and how you can send off one-off documents for signing. I'm probably not going to get a chance to show you Form Filler, but we have the option to build and send document templates yourselves. And then we also have some customized forms, and in particular government forms, like if you're in New Zealand, the KiwiSaver, the employment type forms that any business needs. So we've got those forms ready for both Australia, New Zealand and the UK, and we're working on the US forms at the moment. So that's some information. All right, so let me just bring up, make sure that you can see the right screen. Very good. So I'm going to log, so this is our website, securedsigning.com, and I'm going to log into our platform. So the only people that need to log into the platform are those that are sending documents out for signing. Okay, so anyone who is just signing or is a reviewer do not need to have a secured signing login. So just the senders. So whoever prepares a document and sends it out for signing now, that's who needs to have a login to secured signing. And then a quick tour of our platform. So up here you'll have some information about your account, and this depends on the type of plan that you have. And then here you have the key different functions that I mentioned. So iSign is if you want to sign your own documents, say somebody has sent you a document to sign and you want to seal it with your signature. WeSign is what I'm going to show you, and then the couple of form creation tools that I mentioned earlier. And then down here we've got the inbox where the files will be waiting to go out if you don't need to send them out straight away, the templates that you may have created, in progress for any pending transactions, signed where they're finished and will sit for 7 days, and then if you enable the history function, it will be there. So to get started, you simply click the Add Document button. Here we go. And then you can either choose from a storage platform if you do use one, or just upload it from your local computer. So I'm going to select an NDA document here. And then I have the choice to decide which folder I want to save it to. So you can also have folders depending on different things that make sense for you. But I'm just going to upload it to the inbox. And then I could choose to just close out of that. But if I'm ready to sign straight away, I'm going to choose the invite button here if I'm ready to send the get the signing process started. So in the WeSign process, there's 2 key steps. So the first one is telling the system who needs to sign and where. So I'm going to go to page 3, which is where my signature is required, and I'm going to follow the red boxes along the way. So I'm going to add invitee signature, that button, and to add anybody, you need to know their email address, first name, and last name. This gives me a signature box like this, which I can resize depending on the document. And then I just want to take your attention over here to the left. So you can choose whether it is a full or initial signature. You can also choose whether you want the date and time and the name to be part of the signature box itself. So typically by default, paper documents, you would have the signature where the squiggle goes. They ask you to write your name and date it. Now we know your name and we know the date and the time, so we can capture that information already inside the signature box, which is what we do. However, you have a lot of choices with secured signing. So if you choose not to want to have that information displayed in the signature box, you simply untick it. The other information you can add is to ask the person signing to capture their job title and or the reason for signing. We also have the witness functionality, which you can do here. I'm not going to go into that now because we will not have enough time. And also multi-page signing. So you can select to add lots of signature boxes quickly, for instance, an initial at once. So you have that option too. Now you can, of course, add as many signature boxes as you need, and you can invite as many people as you need. There are no limits to how many people you can invite for a signing process. So once you've done that, we're going to click Next, and this will take us to the very last step when sending out an invitation. So this is called the invitation workflow, where you're setting a lot of the different steps for your particular signing process. Now, what you see in this window will depend on which settings you have enabled in secured signing. So there are a lot of features that you can turn on. Some will be relevant to you and your business, some will not. So as part of your setup, you would go through and see what is for me and what isn't. Some of the things to show in here then, every signing process will have a due date. Now you can select the due date manually as well, or there is a default, so the system will default to what you choose. The due date is very important because this also sets out how many reminders your invitee will receive for the signing process if they don't start signing straight away or they didn't sign it straight away. So you can decide your own reminder schedule. We provide one as a default, which you can completely alter yourself. You can add as many or none at all if you wish, so it's up to you. You can also tailor what each reminder email says and choose if you want to send the reminder by SMS as well. So you have a lot of flexibility and functionality in terms of reminders, and that is a very big time saver for our customers, is these reminders. They're no more manual follow-up, which is fantastic. The next thing here is just around the signing order. So if you had multiple people signing and the order in which they sign is important, you would tick that. And as you can see, Greg has now got a nice number 1 next to him, and you can drag and drop to resize that. If you did have this sequential signing turned on, it means that it goes to number 1 first, and only once the first person is signed, it goes to the second person in the queue. When the second person opens up their invitation, they will already see the first signature there. Okay, if you didn't have that ticked on, it just means that everybody gets their invitation at the same time, and the system just handles whoever clicks the link first, etc. So it's not a big deal. But if it's important to your process, which often it is, then you can decide there. Now, effective date is typically used by lawyers. So if at the end of a transaction you want to stamp the effective date, you would have that. If you're not a lawyer and you don't need it, you don't have to have it visible in here. You just don't turn it on. And then we have specific workflow features for each invitee. So you can choose whether you want to use our SMS functionality. Now, SMS can be used in 2 ways. So one is to actually send the invite by SMS, that they can click on the link and start signing on their phone from that text message, so they don't even need an email. And the other one is around 2-factor authentication. We still send them an email, but they need to enter a code which has been texted to them to be able to access the document. So yeah, both of those you need to turn on if you wish. The next one is the review before signing. So this is if you want the invitee in this case to read through the document fully, agree or acknowledge that they have read through the document and that they agree to all the terms and of what the document states, and then they click approve, and then it takes them to sign. This adds that step to that audit log. If in the future you ever had a dispute that they said they did not read it, you can use that as evidence. So that's what that is. I'm just going to have talking too fast. I'll try and slow down, but I'm trying to fit as much as I can in the 30 minutes. And then the other two, video confirmation and face-to-face. So video confirmation is when we take a short video of the person signing. They have to make a random gesture, and then a link to that video becomes part of the document that is sealed and can't be altered. To date, it's been very popular with our finance customers when signing loan agreements. But I must say, with this lockdown and people working from home, there's more and more of our customers that are taking up the video confirmation feature, and the face-to-face is probably the opposite. Less people using it, but what it means is that you can prepare a document for signing prior to, say, having a meeting in person, and instead of sending them the invitation to sign remotely on their own device, you would log into our face-to-face portal and you would sign in person. So it follows a slightly different signing experience. You can also choose which invitation emails you want to have. Tailor, you can build your own. You can add any attachments, and also the completion email at the end. You can tailor those for your needs. So when you're done, you click send. And then if I just go back, I'll just show you that that document is now in the in progress tab, and you can quickly see the status there. Now from here you can view the document that's pending. You can view the document to see log to see all the actions in real time that have happened to this moment. But the big one is around if you need to make changes on the fly. So you can change the due date if you need to, bring it forward or back or push it out. You can copy in other people that need to be notified of the signing process that are not an invitee, so they don't need to sign. You can actually change the email address. So if for whatever reason they want to use a different email, or the person who's actually authorized to sign is somebody else, you can alter it here. Face-to-face again, and you can make changes to that, and also send a manual reminder. So you can make changes without having to start again. All right, what I'm going to show you now is the invitation. So I'm now the invitee, Greg, and I've received an email from you to sign some documents. With our email, all of this, it can have your branding and logo on it, and you can also tailor what this email says, aside from some of the key parts which we take care of. So the due date, the signing link, and the passcode. So when you're ready to sign, you would click on that, and I never take care of the 4647. 4647. Now your invitee has 5 goes at this. If they get it wrong more than 5 times, it locks them out, and the document owner will be notified that they need to unlock it. Doesn't happen much at all. And then once you're here, without the review before signing, you're taking straight to where your first signature is. In this case, we only have one. So here it is. And then it asks me to capture my signature. Now, if your invitee hasn't signed with us before, or hasn't saved his signature before by clicking this orange button here, they will be asked to capture their signature each time. So, or the first time. So if they're using a desktop or a laptop, they have this suite of signature capture options. So they can choose from a font. They can draw their signature with their mouse. They can upload an image of their signature. They can use our fax function or extend it to their mobile phone. I'm going to use a font today. Now, if I was signing it on my mobile phone, it will just ask me to rotate my phone and sign it with my finger on the glass as the default capture option. So then I click sign, and the signing is done. So once it's done, your invitee has the option to view it from here or download it from the screen. However, they will also be sent a completion email, which is here coming up. So this is our completion email. Again, you can tailor the completion email with your branding and the content in terms of, what happens next now that you've signed. It also has the document log, which are all the steps that have taken place. And of course, the most important, signed document. So here it is. So my computer's a bit slow. And there we've got the signature at the bottom. So that's as easy as that. In terms of our signing platform, I should say the document owner receives an email notification as well, so they don't have to jump back into our platform. They can then take that signed attachment and put it into your CRM, or hang on, I need to log in, to where you keep your documents for long term. Again, we do have a long list of integrations, and we may already integrate with the system that you're using, so have a look on our website. But if not, you will need to then manually save it to where you keep it. Now, over here on the Sign tab, you can see that it's completed. You can view the document, and you can actually start another signing process if you needed to as well. So that's how you would do it from here. And then obviously the history function will keep the document there for long term if you have this turned on. Right, questions now. I'll have a quick look. So there's just one about pricing. So all of our pricing, we have a pricing calculator on our website, which is an easy way to see to work out the price. It asks you 2 questions, which make up the 2 key factors around how many people need to send documents, so how many users you need to log in, and then how many documents will you be signing or sending in terms of volume. And you can choose from a monthly or an annual plan and just click get pricing depending on your need. If it exceeds, we have a sort of our business plan, and then enterprise. If your volumes are enterprise, then it will come through for us to give you a quote. Otherwise, it is a very self-service process. you can just sign up yourselves. You can also register to a free trial where you get some free documents to have a play with. If you do run out, you'll get some emails from us, so you just reply to one of those emails and we'd be happy to credit you with some more documents for testing. But yeah, it's very easy. We have a number of tutorial videos under demos, step-by-step guide. This is the introduction to digital signature page that I referenced earlier, and more information around security, performance, and the legality of our digital signatures. So there's a lot of information on our website that you can get stuck in if you have the time. And also here's our integration page. But if you would like to have just a session with myself to go through your process, what you're thinking or how you're wanting to replicate your current manual paper-based processes in a digital way, I'm more than happy to have a session and show you how you can do it with our platform in a detailed way specific to you. So just get in touch with me. My email is gal.thompson with a P, THOMPSON at securedsigning.com. I will also be sending you an email post this with a recording of the webinar, which you're more than welcome to share with your colleagues if you think they will find it useful too. So, seeing how I'm now 1 minute over, I will wrap it up there. Thank you so much for joining us today and taking your time. It is much appreciated, and I hope that you found it useful, learned something new, and you can see how you can use a platform like this in your business. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful afternoon.